How are we not recording yet?
We are. Okay, we all have
we
our
are.
microphone condoms on?
Yeah.
Let's go.
We're on.
Oh, no. Hold on a minute.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
big surprise. 18 episodes and Jeff still doesn't have the Dixie.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a podcast designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. Whatever kind of LeChump or track dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate. We even think you Drifto Hella Flush guys are all right, as long as you built it yourself and drive it hard. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, news and notes from the world of low buck racing, and if you can handle it, Chrissy will give you just the tip. I'll be your pit marshal. My name is Jeff. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
This is mental. And I'm mental.
Come on.
Yeah, that was my screw up. And I'm mental. Just shut up and read it. Go.
Go.
Hey, and we're Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back, listening to another just splendid episode of our podcast, because we are completely not have any idea what we're doing. So
Yo, Jeff told us that we're like the best. There's like a whole lot of people that are so much worse than us.
that's
which
because
means
the
we're
bar
awesome.
is that low. So
My mom says I'm the cutest one. I don't know.
She's probably right. Oh.
Aw,
What episode are we on? 18.
18. Cool. So
This
we
is
can
actually
vote.
pretty dope.
So what's going on? What are we working on? Jeff, what are you doing? Oh, we can't hear Jeff. Oh, that's exciting. He's talking. So,
Cub Scout camp.
oh, there we go. Now we got it.
Ah,
Jeff,
We don't
what's your
mess up the
degree?
intro. Mess
Jeff,
up later.
what's your degree in?
my degree's in radio and television.
And what were the?
I'd like to mention, I'm the one with the most buttons on my side.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And what
That's
were
a
the?
good-
My
You're not
buttons
helping
are
your-
bigger.
You're not helping your case.
My buttons are bigger and they work.
And
I
what?
just don't know how to use them.
Unfortunately, your basement's a crap hole.
That's
What,
true.
what were you? What,
Hey.
no, hang on. What were you just giving us a hard time about our recording? What was the phrase that you used?
Sibilance. Sibilance.
Oh, siblings. I love my siblings.
Oh, not siblings. Sibilance.
Oh, yeah,
And not-
like the monkey.
Monkey with cymbals. Clang, clang,
that wasn't
clang,
it.
clang.
Ching.
Wasn't it? Not
That's about how
symbol.
good we are. So, okay, Cub Scout camp. Tell us about Cub Scout camp.
I'm just saying, I went to Cub Scout camp, had a great time. I had a group
What
of friends
merit badge? What
over.
merit badge did you
Done
earn?
in Cub Scout camp. It was all about the Olympics. This is not the story. Don't railroad me, mental. So the story is that I did no work this weekend because I had my friends over and I went to Cub Scout camp. But I still do have an update from the previous episode. My parents purchased a 2018 front-wheel drive Equinox to
Ooh.
flat tow behind their RV.
Nice truck. Very nice truck.
Yeah, I think they did good. They looked at the old enough CRVs and the current generation Equinox and just said, you know, we like the gewgaws. We like the lane departure little lights, and we like the back
we know
of
that.
cameras, like all that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
they went new.
Thing. Don't really blame them.
Yeah,
We didn't
that's
look
all
at
I
that
got.
one, but it's true. The nice cars, like we talked about with Christina. They're
Oh, yeah.
good.
Yep.
It's too
Mental, you're up
bad.
next.
Too bad that Mazdas
All right.
can't get pulled by RVs, because otherwise
Yes,
that would be
no.
the right answer.
Yes,
No,
no.
Absolutely.
no, and wait, what was because of the CVT? Was that the answer? Or why they couldn't get pulled by the
Mazda.
RV?
No, Mazda has 6 speeds, but they still for some reason say you can't do it. Whatever the transmission fluid pump design is, it's not one that will pump on its own when it's just being pulled. So Mazda doesn't do that.
That is exactly right. And all the tech things I read, it's because the motor must be on to pressurize the pump in the transmission and the differentials. So
Interesting.
when you drag something with the motor off, everything runs dry.
I remember when I was autocrossing back in Oklahoma, my friend Justin Howe, shout out to Justin, Okie Speed, yo. He had gotten for nothing this V8 powered Infinity that he used to autocross, and eventually just with the Sawzall kept taking more and more of it off. It became the 5/8 Infinity, then it became the half Infinity, and then literally it was a chassis with a seat. But he would flat tow it behind his Nissan pickup truck with a tow bar, not even like a wheel dollar.
This sounds janky all over the
absolutely.
place.
And he had to start the engine. So he would tow it behind him from our shop in Moore, Oklahoma,
While
to
it
the
was
other side of
running.
the city, with the engine running. So the transmission pump would not work.
Yep. So yeah, that's the end of my what you working on. I haven't even seen it yet. From the little picture I saw that they texted me, might be black, might be blue.
Okay.
Oh, okay. At least your dad can't blow up the clutch.
True.
Oh.
Mental, what you working on?
So did the annual insurance review, because I've got my RV insured with Geico and my motorcycle insured with Progressive. So I called both of them to see if they could make me a deal. And on both cases, they were quadruple the amount what I'm paying the other company. So I still have 3 separate insurance companies.
Wow.
All of my vehicles is ridiculous. And the Porsche is officially gone. I am no longer the owner of the world's longest 996 track project. The poor guy showed up. He had a fifth wheel style trailer with the 2-car trailer, because he had also bought a Cayman from a local police officer here in Georgia. And he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I'm trapped in front of the single lane covered bridge that the city just spent millions of dollars fixing, and I can't get turned around." So I had to go help him with that. He was supposed to be here at 7:30. By the time we got the car loaded up, it was 1:30 in the morning.
Oh no!
A comedy of errors. And I said, "All right, dude, look, just go in my spare room and get some sleep." So he did.
So you let him stay.
Yeah, and then he headed back to Oklahoma. So I've got room in garage, and we'll cover that in the hella sweet but terrible.
Okay.
That's all I've done.
Just a quick question. While he was going back and forth and just having the terrible day that he was having, did he lock his keys in his car while it was running?
He avoided exactly that. So
Good job.
Yeah, good job,
Not
Brandon.
that bad.
It's not that bad. And so, yeah, I'll throw this on his Facebook page and let him know. No, he did a good, but he did buy this trailer a week before, or the day before he drove all the way out here, and we go to hook up the winch. Winch doesn't work. So I actually had a winch that Vicky had bought during one of her bargain hunting things, and we hooked it up to a car battery with the leads, and we winched my Porsche up onto his trailer with that.
Only gets more ghetto.
Nothing says class.
Nice.
Yeah, janky rather. Maybe not ghetto.
Because it hooked to his receiver hitch, so it had to go up to his trailer and then over, and it was sketch.
All right.
Cool.
Good times.
Awesome. Chris, what you working on?
The kitchen. I put some wallboard up after running a lot of wires. So it's really been running wires in the wall and getting all those set up on different circuits with GFCIs and fun stuff like that. And then running the low voltage wire for the LED under cabinet lights, and then putting up backer board and drywall to cover that wall back up.
And how many pieces do you have left to put up?
One. No, 2.
One
Sorry.
full sheet or one little section?
Two small sections. One section that's about 2 by 3. That's going to be one piece, and then one section that's about 18 inches by 8 feet. That's on the ceiling, and I have to finish the exhaust vent before I can put that up, which involves cutting a big hole in the side of the house, which I wasn't going to do today because it snowed.
Yes, and that's a perfect time to cut a hole in your house.
Yep. Exactly.
But we're making progress.
Yep.
So yeah, I have a back door. I totally feel you. That needs like a new door sweep. And every time it gets to be about 1 degree, Jen says, "Will you please put the door sweep on?" And I was like, "You have to tell me when it's warm enough to leave the door open for an hour."
Uh-huh.
So it never gets done.
Stuff stuck under it.
Well, that's what we have. Yeah, we have like a big pile of clothes and towels covering the back door.
That's gonna help a little.
I love it.
And it's the one the dogs
Crapcan
used to
home
go out.
repair.
Yeah.
We should start a second podcast just about all the janky crap we've done in our house that we learned. Because Chris and Chrissy isn't your master bathroom sink. You welded that when you first learned how to weld.
Yeah, I welded the vanity together out of 1-inch steel tubes. And
Which,
then,
and
That's
I'm not gonna lie,
fantastic.
it looks awesome, but it's just funny because you told me, he's like, yeah, hey, Lemon's home repair.
Yeah.
Oh no! We said what kind of vanity looks good. Let's just make something awesome.
Car parts, duh, always.
well, it's just steel tubing that's it's just ran it with an angle grinder with a flap disc on it to clean it all up and leave it raw, and then we bolted a teak restaurant tabletop to it. And
Yeah, I think it looks fantastic. I wouldn't touch it.
That. No, I like it. I think it's fun.
Crap, I'd buy that.
Automotive home repair. It's fly.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Chrissy, what do you got going?
Okay, so all weekend I worked on the budget. We swear in 2017
because you're the
budget.
smart one of all of us.
Well, so we really
We're all
thought,
just gonna make it up until we're broke.
Well, no, we try. We do try because we have we go through all of the receipts and we put them all into a spreadsheet. I swore, so did Chris, that we started one and we could not find it. So we started over again. And we went through all of our credit cards. We went through all of our emails and Amazon carts and the paper.
I cried a little bit.
Oh, Chris is crying. He is not happy. But anyway, it's going to be
Once
great.
again, yep.
So Jim and Jack, get your stuff done so we can.
We need to sell this damn Citroen. How are we doing on that, Jeff?
Yes.
Hey, Jeff,
There's no news.
how's the
No news.
title on the
I've got nothing.
Citroen?
Oh, the
I've got
freaking
nothing.
place.
I know. I will call.
It's
them.
Rhode Island. You're not
So
going to
just-
speed them up.
I don't even have a number to call. I'll figure it out. I will get
Just
on
to
it.
make-
Rhode Island has phone numbers, I think.
I know.
They're only 5 digits long
Rhode
because
Island has
that's all the
no
people there are.
They all start with 555.
It's like
Make you
Delaware
feel
license
a little
plates.
bit better.
Yeah.
Make you feel a little bit better. My co-teacher last week says, "Hey, can you handle all the practices this week? I've got my significant other's car." I'm like, "Yeah, yours is in the shop." She says, "Nope, my registration's expired." I'm like, "Well, it's easy because you're a veteran. It's cheap in Georgia." She's like, "Yep, when you have a title." So she moved from Maryland, lost the title to her car, so it's sitting in her driveway. She can't drive it. No idea when it's going to get resolved.
Titles in Georgia? No way.
Yeah, did you say don't need a title in Georgia?
Beyond a certain age, no. All you need is a notarized bill of sale. But hers is newer than that.
Oh,
She's not into the janky car scene.
I understand.
So her very expensive, very nice Toyota minivan is sitting in the driveway useless while I drive around in my janky Mercedes with veterans plates and I don't get speeding tickets.
Awesome. Chris,
So
I think you're still working.
I do. I am trying
Right.
to. So it's Girl Scout cookie time. Woo!
Woo!
That's only up here, so Philadelphia area. So find your Girl Scout standing in the freezing cold and in the entranceway to your favorite store, grocery store, bank, wherever you might find them. But tomorrow, and I have been prepping them, my 10-year-olds, to sell cookies. So
Tagalongs for the win.
coming.
So
Sounds good to me.
now, and I don't mean to pull back the curtain too far. So you used to professionally work for the Girl Scouts, and now you still volunteer?
Yes, true. I worked for them for what, 7 years probably, 5 years maybe, and then I took a couple years off and started back. Actually, I think I only took a year off, and then I found a troop. I basically just said, "Hey, I'm a person, no kids. How can I help?" And I got paired up with a lovely woman who has a daughter in the troop, and we have a couple other girls that joined the troop.
Which
But
if I had tried to do the same thing, they would be extremely suspicious.
Extremely suspicious. But let me, if I may, Chris, if you would, let me brag on Chrissy a little bit, because Chrissy was a gold Girl Scout, which is the equivalent to an Eagle Scout. And what's the percentage on that? Because it's very rare, isn't it?
It is. It's actually, I received a gold award.
Gold
so
award.
I'm not yes, and it's equivalent to an Eagle Scout. And there are probably less than 5% Girl
And
Scouts.
so and generally, I remember the first time you told me that you were driving me to the airport, and that is sincerely impressive and something to drop in conversation. I would all the time. I'm a gold Girl Scout, by the way. And
I'm not a gold. I
I
received
knew
it.
you were mental.
gold award Girl Scout. No, but no, it's cool that you recognize the impact that organization had on your life and your because my Boy Scout troop is actually getting ready for their, I believe it's going to be their 50th reunion. Obviously I wasn't there when they
you
formed
weren't
it.
there all 50 years. I don't.
No, but a number of years right before I became an officer in the Air Force, I got invited back for their 30th reunion. So they should be rolling up on that. And I never went that far with it, but it's kind of funny the impact that those things have on you as you get to be an adult. Sorry, made it all serious. Going to stop doing that now. But again, wanted to brag on Chrissy because that's a cool thing.
That's fabulous.
Yeah,
Hey,
you can
Mental.
brag as well.
Mental. Both Wakeman boys, Eagle Scouts.
Yeah, not the only one. Here.
Ah, yeah.
How am I just hearing that now?
I
Dude,
don't know.
seriously, that is
Duh.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
And you,
Good.
I got an idea. Let's get back to talking about cars. Who's got news and notes?
I'll start. I found an article from Jalopnik that grid girls aren't gone. Because this is my favorite subject ever. No, that's not good. But Jalopnik article said that the F1 said, "I'm sorry, we're wrong. The grid girls are great, but they're just a bit, air quotes, outdated. So we're going to make them more relevant, part of the competition, rather than just holding a board and standing next to a car. They'll be fully integrated into the program," spelled weirdly, whatever language that's
British.
and change the perception of what they are to the sport. The only way they're going to do that is if you put them in a car afterwards. Get it here, wear this clothes, put on your F1, your suit, and get in the damn car.
Or they bring guys out and they have guys in tight-fitting pants, and they're walking out there doing the same kind of crap. If you want eye candy, that's fine. Just make it equal, dudes.
Yeah, not happening. So I just thought it was funny.
You don't
want to see
a week off. You don't want to see you do not want to see Alonso. He is from Spain.
I don't.
He has the deepest blue eyes, and he has six-pack abs. And he's wearing a halter top standing next to Fernando.
I mean, I think it would be great. Like, switch it up. Have one race that they just have all hot guys standing out there. See what happens. Like,
I think they should pick the Dubai race to do that. I think that would be well received.
Great. I think so. And yeah, no. So
they'd probably let it slide, but Cutter would be like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. So I just thought it was fun that the grid girls are not, but they took 2 weeks off, and then they like, no, we don't want grid girls, and all of a sudden now they're just like, oh, we were kidding, we want you back.
Two weeks off without a race. It's not like they had a race.
You're
exactly.
Right.
I just had this image of all these girls in Ibiza sitting in the corner, not eating, drinking too much, going, oh my God, we totally have a job again. Woo!
They might be doing that. All right, so that's my rant. Sorry. Off the soapbox.
Where are they? Ibiza?
Ibiza.
Where is that?
It's an island off the coast of Spain. Just
you know what?
I'm older than you, and I know what Ibiza is. Shut up.
Is Mental older than me? I don't know. I thought I was oldest. Anyway, let's go to the next story.
All right, I swapped this up because I want to take the last story, so it's you, Jeff. Talk about this awesome Velocity.
I'll go. So if you have not been paying attention, the Detroit Auto Show is going on, or just finished. I'm not really sure where it is. But
North American International Auto Show.
North American International Auto Show in Detroit, otherwise known as Detroit Auto Show. Hyundai showed the new Veloster N, which is something that they've been doing in Europe for a little bit. And it has 275 horsepower, a 275 horsepower 3-door Hyundai. And I guess my question is, welcome to the hot hatch fight, Hyundai. Can this bring some cred that the Scoop and the Tiburon did not?
No.
Do we need a 275 horsepower Hyundai?
Is it available with a manual?
I'm sure the current one is. The turbo is.
Probably is.
Okay. Because they're trying to fill the void that was left by the CRX because Honda's not interested in doing it.
Which makes us cry.
Until Hyundai gets their suspension tuning anywhere close to good, here's a big... I'm so far into I don't caresville.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, because I like the Veloster, and then they've got to do battle with the Stinger because Kia just introduced that thing, and it's impressive.
I was going to bring up the Kia Stinger. The Kia Stinger has been getting lauded by the American press that have driven it. Yep. And there's another part of this story. Evo Magazine drove and loved the Hyundai i30N, which is basically the same motor. It's a Elantra GT that we don't get here, but they said that it will put down the ST GTI crowd in a heartbeat for the same money.
Well, let's see if Hyundai can actually do some of this, because every time they've ever had anything good, even like the Tiburon, they would put the V6 in there and said, oh, wow, it's going to be so great. And it just does nothing because the suspension
the Genesis Coupe wasn't terrible.
When have they done anything in motorsport? Nothing, because they're not good. The suspension design is not good. They're too heavy. They're just not... They're good on the surface and they're cheap, and that's why people like them, but they just don't last, and then they depreciate like they're on fire.
They do depreciate. Now, they do last because they've got that super warranty. I got a chance to drive their electric car, and I expected it to be a disaster when I was with the Georgia Automotive Media Association, and I got to drive it's the Ion or some such. Yeah. The Ionic. Yeah. And here's what was really cool about it is the transmission was a blast. It was a low horsepower car, and they knew it, but they put all the fun in the transmission, and as soon as I pulled out of the parking lot, this thing felt like a first-generation GTI. It was peppy. It was ready to go. It wasn't fast, but it was a ton of fun. It just really was a blast of a little car to drive. So they're getting there. I think the market has changed a little bit, which is why obviously their cars are heavier, and they probably do need some work with their suspension, and I think they need to work with the aftermarket a little bit better.
Well, I think the Evo guy who was driving the i30 in the video I watched on YouTube, I'll post it on our Facebook thing there, said that the suspension was tuned at the Nürburgring and was great.
That is such a ridiculous gimmick, tuned at the Nürburgring.
I agree.
Nürburgring is something every gearhead should do, but it's a terrible track. That's why they don't race there anymore.
Yeah, so I'll post the video. You can all say, I'm not saying I'm running out to the Hyundai store, but I'm definitely glad to.
But in 10 years, Jeff is totally going to have 2 of them, and 3, and one of them will run.
Well, if they depreciate like
maybe that's true.
Like current Hyundais,
well,
there'll be Babe Rally money in like any moment.
Biggest reason you're never going to see me in a Hyundai or Kia showroom anytime soon is their dealer practices are the worst in the industry. Clearly,
this is true because
I know nothing about their dealers.
But their entry level pricing, they do some sketchy ass stuff. Yeah,
most of their sales are we'll get you approved because no one else will.
Exactly.
That's the problem. So.
Those people got to go somewhere.
Yeah, Mitsubishi,
that's why the dealer,
Chrysler.
Yeah, that's why the dealer model in and of itself is doomed. It will die, and everybody loves to talk trash about Tesla, but God bless you, Tesla, because you are going to break that dealership model, and it needs to be broken.
Sign me up. I hate the dealership model. It can die yesterday.
How about for another show? How about that? Let's
another show. Absolutely.
Well, we definitely won't get sponsored because we'll do nothing but badmouth every dealer we've ever dealt with.
No,
Mental, go out. You got a story.
Sorry. All right. What's our time?
21.
Doesn't matter. Get to your story.
All right, it doesn't matter. So Blip Shift is coming down to watch the Rolex 24 at Daytona, and they put on their Facebook page and all their other social media that they have no idea where to go, and they are inviting gearheads to meet them. And I think you guys might remember this. Absolutely it is. At New Jersey a couple of years ago when we had the nightmare when the Triumph tried to rip itself in half and basically everything died except the Honda, the Blip Shift guys were there racing. So they're racers. They're great guys, and they put on their social media, hey, what's a gearhead event that we can stop by and see on your way down? So if you are a Blip Shift fan, and I just went through my closet today, and it is stupid how much of my wardrobe is Blip Shift. I honestly, no exaggeration, probably 90% of my wardrobe is Blip Shift. Chris, you got a couple of their shirts, right?
I do, but the interesting point is the car that they used to race is the Lexus SC400 that Darren's brother now has. That Mental you drove until it broke.
For 1 second. I didn't realize that was their car.
That was their car. They bought it from Jeff Block, and they had about as much success as he did. So
raced it once, came over, gave us some free socks, and then we sold it. But so go check those guys out. And then my favorite thing, and this actually put a smile on my face. So Grassroots Motorsports, we're going to put the link on the Facebook when we get done recording this. Grassroots Motorsports, they send out articles that when they rehash some of their print articles and put it online. So it was the Unholy Trinity article about what? It was about the Wartburg. And the Wartburg is what actually brought all of us together. You guys entered the essay contest, and you guys got first, and then some clown named Mental got second. You guys called me up.
The project actually got finished this way.
Barely. I don't even know that's right.
I finished the truck. It was just flammable when I was done. That's all. But honestly, that brought us together, and then it talked about the Babe Rally. So not only does it relate to our show topic for the week, which Jeff is going to go into depth, but it's how we all met. So it made me feel warm inside. So if you're a Grassroots Motors fan, pop over to their website, read the article. It's still a great article. And which one of you came up with the quote about driving it on the Babe Rally? Yes. So Jeff came up with the quote. Jeff, share the quote with us because it's
actually
brilliant.
They misquoted it in the article, and I'm very upset. And I was going to write something on the page, but I didn't. I said, driving the Wartburg is like being waterboarded. You won't die. You just hope it ends really soon.
Instead, you drove it everywhere. Which
I did, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we're not going to talk. Maybe that's a whole new show theory, is the epic of the Wartburg.
I think the Wartburg is its own show, yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing there today.
We're not, but it just made me happy.
Go read the article. See me in knee pads in a national magazine for the first time, although it has been repeated several times. One that you
don't have to ask the clerk to bring you for when you go and buy it at the newsstand.
I know we have listener feedback and a long topic today, so I'd like to keep it moving. Who's got this listener feedback? Who's got the first?
Steve, the dishwashing fairy, emailed us, and he said, "Hey, Chris, can you get closer to the microphone and speak louder? Very often you wind up fading to the point where I have to crank up the volume to hear you. This is the reason I included this quote." And then suddenly Jeff chimes in and blows my eardrums out. I swear to God.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Everybody just turned the radio down.
Yep. Usually it's Mental's laugh that does it.
Exactly. I thought for sure it was going to be the Mental laugh. So I'm just happy to see that. And then Mental, you went on and on about keeping the critters out. And I'm going to read this in a Southern voice because it's funnier. Son, I've been in the South far less time than you have. And even I know that in most rural Georgia community, them critters is called dinner. Why would you want to keep them out? Well played, Steve, the dishwashing fairy. Well played. Thanks for listening, Steve.
I'd like to respond that today I am using a boom microphone, so I look like I'm in a call center, and
he's wearing his insurance shirt too.
Yep, an employer-sponsored T-shirt from a Habitat build. So really, I am ready to handle the call from your claim right now. So phone lines are open.
So many people from Atlanta are calling you right now, going, "I just slid into a mailbox and I don't know what to do."
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Shiny mailbox that Mental took many weeks to build. So, so let's talk. I know we got a lot to talk about. We have a big main topic today. For those of you who don't know, yeah, I'm sorry, you cut out there, Mental.
I'm sorry, it's a two-parter topic.
Two-part topic, exactly.
Next week when we have a guest.
That's right. This week we're going to do the history of Crapcan rallying because it's almost rally time in the East. The 24 Hours of Lemons rally, Moscow to, I have no idea where to.
Street from Moscow.
Yeah, streets of Moscow.
Retreat from Moscow.
Retreat from Moscow. Sorry, is Mental cutting out just in my ears? Or is it
he's sitting back to try to not interrupt you as much and let you talk, which will help the show go a lot better. So
he's still interrupting. Just far away.
Sorry, I will ignore Mental like the rest of our listeners should. So. So there is this thing called Crapcan Rallying, and we participated in America, which was called the Babe Rally. We'll get to that in a minute. But really, the history of the event really started in Europe, in England, and a lot of other places. They were doing stuff in the early 2000s. Home to Rome was a famous one. Staples to Naples. So a couple of these. Czechs Rex was my favorite. And these were basically rallies where you bought a dirt cheap car and you traveled across Europe and you tried to survive till the end. And during it, you got challenges. There were points, and somebody won and walked away with a crappy trophy. Sound familiar, right? So in 2006, a guy from England, from Street Safari, streetsafari.com, I assume is still out there and alive.
It's so not.
It's all
I Googled it today. Oh, it's all gone. BabeRally.org is a very nice women's group.
Oh.
That's what comes up. So,
right.
Well, fair enough.
Nobody's actually missing anything. So.
No. But a guy named Justin, who was a Brit, came to America and brought what they called Crapcan rallies, or what they called banger rallies, I believe. Banger. We convinced him that he should call it, shit boxes or whatever. Oh, there goes our E. Sorry.
Oh, come on, Jeff.
Sorry, but it was Babe Rally, BABE, Big Apple to Big Easy, New York to New Orleans. It was $250 to buy the car. This was a while ago. Steel prices weren't what they are now. They moved it to $500 later. Purchased the car. The improvements were open, but you basically kept the spirit in mind. You showed up with the biggest piece of crap you could think of. Decorated, themes, the whole 9 yards. Hopefully, yes. Right. Well, I always said, like, if you showed up in a brand new, cheap car, even a brand new nice car, if you showed up in a Ferrari, everyone would go, nice Ferrari. Oh, look at that piece of crap over there. And they'd all run over. So really it was if you wanted the admiration of your peers, you showed up in the crappiest thing you could find. So each day at a hotel, they'd blow a horn. They'd pass a packet in the window, and you would have your challenge for the day. They were mostly photograph challenges. They were, take pictures of this, take pictures of this. And at the end of the night, some British guy, if he wasn't too drunk, would score it. It was subjective scoring. It was hard to figure out who was winning. Who knows how the heck it worked. Oh my! It's
Mental.
What's going on?
Stop eating chips.
No, it was a dog.
No, there's a shaky dog and Mental's eating chips. So there's all kinds of things going on there.
Nobody's talking.
Again.
Nobody's talking to him, so that's why he needs to make sounds so he can be.
So, he's got his dog licking the microphone now. It's fantastic. I think I just want to open it up real quick here because I've said a lot and just say, hey, let's talk about challenges real quick. What was everybody's favorite challenge? Maybe that's a good way to start this up so people can understand what kind of things happened on the Babe Rally. Chris, you got one?
I think the interesting ones were the costume day where everyone had to be in a costume on your team, and then you had to take pictures with groups of strangers. And you get more points for more people. And so the costumes was something like, everyone dressed like Superman, or everyone dressed like the Wizard of Oz, or Elvis, a variety of Elvises. And you had to get at least 3 people in the picture.
The Dorothys were really, really funny when you guys were all dressed as Dorothys. That was fantastic. Epically awesome.
And if you got bonus points if you got 10 or more people in the picture. So it was good because it made you go to places and it made you talk to people. And it made you put yourself in uncomfortable situations that you wouldn't otherwise. But those are always the best stories. And the quick anecdote on this I'll share is when we went to the Woodrow Wilson Presidential Museum, we figured there's got to be some people there dressed as Elvises. And not only did you get a picture out front with some random locals that we accosted, the people in the South are usually generally fairly friendly once they're not afraid of you as much. And when you're in a group, you're less fearful, or people are less afraid of you because there's a bunch of them. It can't be just one lone wacko. It's several wackos, so it's organized. So we got to sit in the Woodrow Wilson Presidential Pierce Arrow limousine. The curator of the museum opened it up, let us sit in it, and took our picture in that. And that's the kind of thing that wouldn't have ever happened without that.
He literally threw open the velvet ropes, pointed at a guy with us, Raphael, the black guy, and said, "You drive, it'll be funny." Oh, no. He said, "You sit where the president was. Yeah. That won't be funniest for the picture."
Wait, and which one was this one? Which one were you guys dressed up as?
Elvis.
That is so... I missed all that. That is awesome.
The problem is that where is that picture? That's when back in the day when everybody had their own little Canon thing and
digital cameras.
Yeah,
it might be on my phones. They might be on my computer somewhere actually still.
Yeah.
12 megapixels,
something like that.
6.
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can find a group of them and we'll post it up in our Facebook page as an album, just like
I literally
just the Babe Rally.
I wrote that down. We're going to create that Facebook album and we're all going to throw our Babe Rally pictures up in there because there are some great ones.
I loved the photo challenge we had the first year I went. I believe it was
7 was your
07
first year.
Was my first year, where it was take a picture of a bunch of these things along the highway, and then they were kind of photoshopped out.
Yeah.
So it was like, here's the shape of the sign, but you can't read what's on the sign because I've blacked it out. And there was one.
Some of them were flipped. So they were they were all black and white images on a page, and some of them were the size of the thumb. Some of them were tiny. They were shaped differently. They were flipped, so you couldn't really tell.
I do remember that from the year I did it. That was challenging.
One of them you'd only see if you looked in the mirror. You had to literally turn around and see it the other direction to take it correctly, and I thought that was brilliant. Right. Anyone else have a challenge you want to talk about before we move on?
I think I like there was the cars. You had to find so many different colored cars, and that makes everybody look for pink cars now. I think that's a thing.
Yeah.
There was definitely a pink car.
Pink cars got a lot more points, basically.
Yeah, right.
Each color had points, and pink was 1,000 points or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was a good one.
Cool. So, go, Chris. Mental.
Well, I always enjoyed the one that I did, and we got 0 points for it, but it was any interactions with law enforcement. Because that encouraged you, dressed as an idiot, to walk up and talk to any law enforcement officer in uniform and say, "Hey, my Crapcan car that I've covered in stickers, we're having a contest." And there's a lot of divisive issues when it comes to law enforcement in this country, but you come to realize, and the same thing that Chris was just talking about is, cops are humans. And if you come to them with the right attitude and you talk to them, they're like, "Yeah, okay, sure, no problem. Here, take a picture." Because it was always a bonus on any of the challenges if you could get a law enforcement officer to take the picture with you.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just say that, now that you know what the challenges are, some days there was 400 miles to cover. Most days were less. And when you do this in a lot of really crappy cars and you're all trying to do the same thing, but you can see it's competitive, but not really against each other, these photo safari hunts. So you kind of bonded and you all went as a group and you became friends. Chrissy, go ahead.
I just forgot one important thing that we should probably say. We usually do this for a while. It started over Memorial Day weekend. So
True.
New York to New Orleans on Memorial Day weekend. Then it got a little bit later, I think, first week in June. So it was kind of like Saturday to Saturday. But the problem was it was always really hot. So so as we're talking about this, think about driving in a crappy car with all your stuff for a week, probably with at least another person, if not more, in the South.
Probably weird.
Probably didn't have AC in your car.
No.
And it was really hot. So just wanted to put that frame of mind around there. Sorry.
Well, I just want to say that it was, like everyone talks about the Lemons paddock as being like a very friendly group, but it's really a bunch of little friendly groups. The teams are together and the teams bond because they're doing the same thing. While in the Babe Rally, sometimes when it was, 2008, 2009, 50, 60 cars, you were all doing the same thing. And if somebody broke down on the side of the road, you slammed on your brakes and cut across 4 lanes of traffic to pull in next to him and say, can I run a part for you? Can I help you out? Can I do something? Because you were stranded. You didn't have... Yeah, you didn't have a backup car. You didn't have a rental car. Like in Lemons, you can always jump in your car and go run for a part. In the Babe Rally, when you broke down, you were stuck on the side of the road with what was ever in your trunk and with whatever's in your brain. And hopefully another team would pass and run for a part for you.
Or you had to whittle it out of what you could find on the side of the road.
Welding with
coat hangers.
Coat hangers on the side of the road.
Well, then and there was a lot of mutual support too. Like, okay, we know that this is going wrong in your car, so 3 of us are going to follow you to make sure that you don't die between here and there.
And you definitely ran in packs. And that was one of the strengths that we had, is we always had a lot of cars that would run in packs, and we would bring with us some really great people sometimes, and some days just run with people because we were all doing the same thing. And
somewhere in there, Chrissy was quoted on Facebook as calling one of them the world's most pathetic convoy. I distinctly remember that one.
Yep.
I did that? No way.
No, it wasn't insulting. It was horribly, horribly accurate.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
I think we were following the dying fail van.
So, and then it died in the United States. I know Chris has some thoughts on how it died and why, and I think he can sum it up pretty good, so I'll pass it over to him for a moment.
Yeah, I think mostly it was the organizer ran it into the ground. He was more into him than everyone else. He made the challenges really cryptic and hard and not fun anymore. Originally, the challenges were fun road games, things you do to pass the time, and everyone had a great time with it. And then eventually...
And you could do it or not do it.
Right, and eventually it got so difficult and cryptic and awful that it took the fun out of it, because he, I think, enjoyed seeing people suffer.
Struggle, totally.
And so he ruined his own event by not caring and just by being an ass. And there's a right way to be an ass, like Jay is, and then the wrong way. So
he also didn't advertise well.
No.
So, we called it the Babe Rally. When you started that, and Jeff, I think, opened it with that, was that we suggested a different name because Babe Rally doesn't mean anything to anybody.
It sounds like strippers.
Right. So, and all our listeners, for the last 18 episodes, anytime we say something about a Babe Rally, now you know what it is, because nobody knows what it was. So advertising just didn't help. A lot of it was word of mouth. We had a great time. We'd invite friends. We'd get more cars. So that's how we could make it live on. But that, I think, really also led to its demise.
They used to get about a sentence or two in Grassroots Motorsports where Lemons started taking out full page ads and delivering meaningful content to them.
Yeah.
But Babe Rally never did. Go Mental.
Well, and you were also they called it a rally, which we get it in the concept of it, but at the time, rally meant, as you guys would always describe it, drifto, and it wasn't a rally in the sense that Americans understand rally. So yeah, there were some marketing and message issues.
Yeah, definitely. But we had a blast when we did it. We met some really great people. A lot of them are still friends to this day. I mean,
that's how our team got together.
That's how we got together.
In a lot of ways, actually.
Yeah. But I'm still Facebook friends with people all over the nation. There's, the Carpocalypse guys who could call Neil and
Neil was
Neil
at
and Matt.
New Hampshire 2 years ago.
And
yes. Oh, yes.
They're great friends. They're a lot of great friends. But anyway,
well, they were always and they always did it for a charity too, which was fantastic.
Yeah. So Chris asked me to sum it up with the line that I said a lot of times, and this was specifically after Connie. We'll talk about her in a few minutes. People would say when you got back from the Babe Rally, and you're talking about like, you'd be like limping. You hadn't eaten a vegetable in a week. You'd be like,
that was my goal.
Dehydrated. You'd basically roll into work after like scruffy with a black eye and a broken set of glasses, and they'd say, "Did you have fun?"
Your left arm is way more tan than your right arm because it's been hanging out the window.
And I always had the same line: if you went on a safari and the hippopotamus, knocked over your truck, and the lion ate your lunch, and the monkeys stole your hat, did you have a good time, or were you like, damn, that was horrible? If you're like, holy cow, I saw a lion, I saw a monkey, I saw a hippopotamus, you'd be like, that's cool. That's the kind of fun you had in the Babe Rally. It was just adventure after adventure after adventure.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's dope.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, you have a lot on your page, and
I know. Do we want to talk about our cars next, or do we want to talk about the things that I wanted to say?
We can go a little bit on our cars because those overlap. So
just somebody keep us on time.
Got it.
I'll do it quick. I ran the first Babe Rally ever with Jim Wakeman and Jim Thwaite and Raphael, and we had a 1982 Chevy G20 conversion van that was spectacular. It had hand-painted wood grain on the side and a magic mushroom wooden mirror on the bar built in. Red shag carpet that was so dusty, and no, don't ever put a black light anywhere near it, I'm sure. So, but you know what? It made it there back, and that was okay. 07, we had Rusty the Dung Beetle. It was a 69 or 72, whatever, it doesn't matter. It was a parts car for the South Jersey Volkswagen Club that Jim cobbled together, and that was such an epically awful, awful car that now makes me hate air-cooled Volkswagens because of how just tragically bad that one was.
And that was 07. That was my first year, and we were there with the Saab 900.
Yep. Then we had
after Saabs, how you started to fall in love with Saabs after all this.
And we had after that we actually won the rally with Rusty, and then we bought we knew we had to do a General Lee theme, so we got a Fox Body Mustang convertible V8. I don't know how we got that thing. It was a long story, but we hooned the hell out of that thing for 08. And then Chrissy and I ran a Fiero in 9. That was the best Lemons Rally best Babe Rally car ever until it was the worst. Then we had the Wartburg. It's his own story. And then we finished it off with a Saab 9000 Turbo that had working air conditioning and got 30 miles to the gallon and made a ton of power. It was great.
Now, here's the big. Are you still friends with that couple you dragged along with you for that awful?
Yeah, it's my best friend. She'll be in the wedding.
Excellent. So see, that should tell you right there the level of fun that we had on those things.
Yeah, yes. That's a really great way to put it. It was all about bonding with the people and bonding with the road and just really seeing the United States. I mean, we did the I'm trying to remember the stupid road in North Carolina that everybody does.
Tail of the Dragon.
Tail of the Dragon, thank you. And before that, we did the Ass of the Antelope, which was a dirt version of Tail of the Dragon, but up and down a mountain. It was even better than the Dragon.
Oh God, because I remember they had like cut ridges into that so you could get traction, and it would shake every part off of your damn car.
Yeah. So I'll do my cars. I mentioned it briefly that I came only the second year. When you guys were in Rusty, I was in the Saab 900. When you guys were in the Mustang, my wife was pregnant, so I sent my brother and some dude named Joe.
That was the best ever.
Come ask us about this with over a beer at a race sometime.
Yes, exactly.
That
was in a legitimate $200 Miata. I was so excited. I spent $50 under the limit. I still own the car today. It is in my driveway. Technically, I have given it to my father, but it hasn't gone there yet.
Hold on. So when you don't find teammates on the internet without doing a thorough interview, that's what we have to say about Joe. Okay, sorry, keep going.
He's probably a listener.
Probably. Hope not.
So the year that you guys brought the Fiero, Jim Thwaite, who we mentioned before, decided to have an American Iron class because gas was up to like $4.50 a gallon. So he thought it'd be a good idea to bring like an American muscle car. So he challenged anyone to bring a big V8 car, and I said, "Oh, I'll get the biggest V8 I can find." And I found a 460 powered 73 Lincoln Continental, which was triple green. It was called Connie. It's the worst soul-sucking Lincoln.
I can't even hear the word Connie without automatically attaching soul-sucking.
It broke down 9 times in the first day, and that was the best day we had.
This is a 3-beer story at a race. So.
Absolutely.
we don't have that kind of time.
I know.
I have a summary written up that I will post on our Facebook page that is absolutely hilarious, but I want to make a quick shout out. That rally was the first time that we met author and gay uncle to us all, Brett. I'm flaking on his last name. Brett. Thank you, Brett Burke, who is like college roommates of the current editor-in-chief of Car and Driver. He writes for 1,000 different magazines. He writes car and lifestyle stuff. So Brett Burke,
he writes well. He
writes really
extremely well.
He's the author we all wish we were. So there it is.
Well, that's what like Lemons, that's what Babe Rally was all about. It was about the people. You met a lot of great people, and people that you got along with. You had a great time bonding with them, and I found it was a great place to meet future spouses. That really worked out nicely. So,
and I would like to add, it's a great place to test your current spouse. Just going to drop that little nugget before I talk into my story, because she'll put up with that crap.
I have a million things to say, but I know what our time looks like, so I'm just going to pass it over to Chrissy. Chrissy, talk about your stuff, and then we'll go to mentals. And if there's time left, I'll tell you about the art of picking a good car, or we'll save that for next week.
Yeah,
okay.
This might be just
that's a good next
to talk
week
about
intro.
later.
Yep.
Okay, so I didn't realize. I thought I started in 2007, but it was actually 8. So I actually started. This was my first exposure to road rallies, was Babe Rally, but not crappy cars. I had a lot of them before this. So basically, I agreed to go with my now ex and 2 other people in a Saab 900 that was painted like a fighter jet. I don't feel like anything notable happened. I don't know that the car broke down a whole lot, but I know we traveled by ourselves because we were very competitive. So we really wanted to win. We took all of the crazy routes. That was definitely one of them that said you drive out to all the different places far away and get pictures of
town names. Go
in the middle,
go there. Yep.
Middle of nowhere. So one time we were in the very deep part of West Virginia. You can only get there from going over Hillendale or the Ass of the Antelope, what he said, dirt roads, that kind of thing. So we're driving in. This is the day we're supposed to get pictures taken. We were dressed up like Superman, and there was this is one of my favorite stories. Boy yells out the window of a school bus and we're wearing Superman costumes, and he yells, "Go home, Fruit Loops." So we were like, whoa, what kind of place are we in?
This was Welsh, West Virginia, everybody.
Yeah. It was awesome. No, it was awesome. So it was just one of those good stories that you remember. And we're
that's a Lemons theme right there. Just paint the car up.
We should probably get out of there. So we were competitive. We won at that year, but only because the previous winning team threw their event and said, "Oh, you guys won," which is not what happened. But
hey, we came in second. It's all right.
Yes. Okay. Right. So the other winning team was Chris. So in 2009, I guess now I went
with trying to make an impression.
Apparently so, and it worked. 2009, I went with Chris in the Fiero. It was the best car until it blew up. And then the next year, in 2010, when everybody was in the Wartburg, I went with my best friend who went with us the next year, but we went in the Miata. So we were supposed to go in a very fantastically painted pink Cabrio. And it was fantastic until somebody hit me into a pole the week before we were supposed to leave and totaled it. And then I needed a Miata. So we did some quick fixes on the Miata.
We already had a $500 Miata sitting in the driveway. It just needed a clutch and a top and a variety of other things. So that's what we did that week.
Yeah.
And the top is totally optional.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was not. It rained a lot that
It did rain a lot.
It rained
every year. Every year.
Yeah, I know, but this one did a lot. So I think Good.
No, so that Miata was a wonderful car. I daily drove that for about a year after the
I
big
know.
rally.
That's why he wouldn't let me paint it. I only stick stickers
that
on
we
it.
talked about 2 weeks ago where, Jeff's mom, I saw some idiot in Miata today. Then I realized it's one of your buddies.
That was
Jeff's
My
wife.
wife. My wife, not my mom.
I'm sorry, your wife, yeah.
It was fun because we got to see towns we never saw before. So you see like, West Virginia, like towns you see that the highway sign is there, but you never actually see the town. Go see the people. Pretty great. And then we also have just great friends. So if you want less excitement, you take a reliable car. That's my answer. Really. I mean, like if you want to just like get places and not have to worry about it, take a reliable car for long trips. Not the same for racing.
True.
Yeah, bring what you can.
True. Mental, do you want to talk about what you want to do, and then I'll jump in at the end? I'm sorry, Chrissy, you have something else?
Chrissy, you got a quick one?
Make sure you have at least one driver that's not super hungover in the morning.
Or if you do have someone hungover, have an in-car camera to watch their pain. We did that one year.
I did that. That's why I put that in here. Okay, I'm done.
All right, Crick, give me a time here.
We're 50.
I love
50.
Okay, so I'm going to be quick. So I will sum up my lone Babe Rally as they summed it up at the end of it. I didn't really start, I didn't really finish, and I traded the vehicle for a case of beer. So I was deployed in 2012, and I was bound and determined to do this event. So my poor roommates, when I was deployed to the desert, every night Vicky and I would get on Skype, and then we would look on Craigslist for various vehicles that we could take on the Babe Rally. And I just remember so many times, and even on Facebook, my roommates posting to their spouse, that poor girl, she has to put up with this crap. And I just got done uploading all of my photos onto our Everyone Racers. There's the Babe Rally photos. So go in there and look. You could talk about the infamous fail van. It was a Chevy Lumina. And because of scheduling conflicts, we had to meet everyone a day late. So we drove straight through the night, got there just as everyone was leaving. We drove all day. The vehicle broke down 3 times and ended up coming in on a flatbed that evening. And somewhere there's a video of that happening. The guys in the Oldsmobile wagon were making a movie about it. So that thing came in. And then Eric got underneath it after not sleeping for 3 days, lit a cigarette, and he said, I'll have it running for you in 30 minutes. And he did, which was stupefyingly awesome. Then the next day we set out and we found that awesome fried chicken at the Lighthouse Restaurant in Cedar Bluff, Alabama, which, again, some of the best fried chicken I've ever had. That was just awesome.
I actually have a picture of all 3 cars on my Facebook at that fried chicken joint.
It is now on the Everyone Racing Facebook because I just uploaded it there.
Okay.
Chrissy said that fried chicken place. I was like, I don't remember what she's talking about.
Mental said it. I didn't know what he's talking about either. Now I remember.
Yeah, Cedar Bluff. Yeah, so it was right there on that lake. So in the end of it, the thing finally blows up, and there's a couple of YouTube videos. And Jeff, there's a video.
I have it.
There's you going, if only we had smell-o-vision, because it smells
so bad.
In an Arby's parking lot just outside of Talladega, Alabama, and the thing is just falling apart. And these guys come by in a short box Chevy, and he said, hey, what are you guys doing? Because all these ridiculous cars with all these stickers were all painted up on there. And we said, well, we're doing this Babe Rally. We explained it to them. And he said, so we're about to leave this thing here. And they drove around the restaurant, drove right back around and said, so what are you going to do with that van? I said, we're about to leave it here. And he goes, what do you want for it? And I said, a 6-pack of beer. And my wife, God bless Vicky,
punched you in the ribs and said, make it a 12.
And said, hey, seriously. And she turns and she goes, 12-pack. So they came back with a 12-pack of beer, which we drank that night. And we met these Scottish guys who were awesome. And they had gotten a vehicle by going to a junkyard and standing in the center of the junkyard. The guy says, I will give you the seat for your Dodge Caravan if you go out there, because he's Scottish, and just yell, freedom! And he went full tilt and went all William Wallace and did it. And they thought it was the funniest thing ever. And the next year they reserved a car for him. So those are the type of people you meet on these Babe Rallies. And it was truly a great experience. And because the fail van was traded for a case of beer, we bought a shitty, oh, I'm sorry, there goes our E again. We bought a crappy Babe Rally car.
It's already gone. You can't give that.
I know, it's already gone. And then blew that up driving back to Oklahoma. So, yeah. And my wife is still married to me. So, folks, if you want a good spouse, test them with crappy cars.
All right, so we've gone into this. We're running out of time. I have two stories for next week. I'm just going to preview here the art and the rap that I do that gets you to buy $500 cars, the never fail rap that always works, and I'll also talk about how to get the greatest Babe Rally or Lemons Rally car, and we are also going to have an interview that Mental's going to tell you about.
Well, I was going to say, yes, and from Roadkill and Lemons and various other publication fames, Eric Rude, despite his own intelligence, has agreed to be our guest next week. So we're bringing Eric Rude, and he's going to talk about the 24 Hours of Lemons Rally. So honestly, and I love Eric, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we love Eric. So let's move on to Hella Sweeter But Terrible.
We got to make it quick.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to make it quick.
Did you look at it?
Yeah,
I looked
it's
at
but
it.
terrible.
Now.
But terrible. For everyone that's listening, it's a really janky, like hella flush Drifto Volvo 240 that's all wrong. That's still
Hey, but our
completely
intro
stock
says we like
drive
them.
line. No, but this one is not good.
It's
And
got good Christmas lights on it.
It does have good Christmas lights on it, but this is like if you just want to look like a fool showing up to your job at a high school, that's cool. It'll do well for that. But if you want something you can actually drive on the track, that is not the answer because nothing about any of that setup at all is even close to driving on the track.
It's what? Cut springs and a bone stock engine that doesn't run?
Right.
How could this go wrong?
So just go to the open classifieds in GRM. Someone just posted up a caged NC Miata. That's what you need.
Ooh, whoa.
Go
Wait,
get
is
that.
that $800 one?
No, it's more than that.
Yeah, okay. So
It's an NC, so it's a
Yeah.
running driving prepared NC. But
I'm going to post the video and the link on our Facebook.
Of the what?
the horrible Volvo.
Oh, this Volvo? Oh, I didn't see there was a video of it.
Why are we junking up our
Craigslist.
Facebook?
Yes.
This is terrible. This is terrible. Don't buy this car.
No, that's so but terrible. Like this is the first
Buy
quickly
it.
unanimous. This is but terrible.
Wait. Everyone shut up so I can start the ASMR part of our podcast. Buy it. You will love it. Nothing can go wrong at $800. Just do it.
So we've got one in favor, one against. Chrissy, you're the voice of reason.
No, I'm neutral. You know what? I can't open the link or it's going to open my page.
No, it's terrible.
So I can't open
And
it.
what's sad now, Mental has a trailer, so he's enabled for all this kind of
So
stuff.
bad. This is so bad. You know why I want you to get this? Because Vicky will stop complaining about the half magic trailer. This thing is so terrible. Get it. Get it. Do it. Wait. Pansy, you can't handle it.
Okay, we're going to move on.
Oh, it's
Let's
everyone's
move
time for
on.
everyone's favorite topic.
Wait, hang on, because I have something.
Oh, come on. You're slowing us down.
Wah, wah,
right.
wah.
He's starting the battery low speaker as we speak.
Come on.
No,
got a lot
too
to
late.
talk
Next
about.
week. Ready? It is just
The tip. No one can hear it.
No one can hear it, Mental.
Stop. I have stuff to talk about. Okay, this one we're
Let's
talking
go.
about. This is like kind of this is a serious topic. This is so this is from the Smith System Technique, which is a third party that teaches drivers how to make better decisions around, behind the wheel, which is what we do. And I deal with a lot of drivers for my work. So this is what some stuff from that. So this week, we're going to discuss one of their things that they called keys is leaving yourself an out. So this technique has been written for driving on the public roadway, but I think we can do a lot of it and it can be practiced on track. And I think I do actually practice this on track and why I don't run into things a lot. So the safest position in traffic is to have few or no objects around your vehicle. We purposely build a space cushion around on all sides of the vehicle. You protect yourself from conflict. Creates multiple escape paths when any situation may develop. This also helps us deal with unexpected and prevent dangerous situations like accidents. First, keep a good following distance. We say that is like easy to do, but you just have to make sure that you are actually doing it. And or I guess everybody on the road
following distances.
I said good following distance. This said for work, it's 4 car lengths. So I just said good with no air quotes. So.
Yeah.
We said, at least a car length, maybe, or around a car length, just enough so people can't butt in on you. That's really what the answer is, and less on track.
Depends
so
on how
give
good
you
your
time.
brakes are.
Because on track they will, or in
brakes.
Atlanta traffic they totally will.
Right. So that gives you a little bit of time to look in front of you, watch, and give your brain time to come up with a plan and react. And then you also have issues that when you travel in packs, so in clusters, in racing, you already have traffic, but sometimes it comes and goes. So you either get ahead of it, get away from it, but then you can have a little bit less, you have more places to find yourself and out. And clusters are unsafe because you have nowhere to go. So anticipate others' actions before they happen. Really good thing to do while watching other drivers on the highway, but also try to make sure that you're anticipating other drivers. You know what kind of drivers, they're faster, they're slower, watch for them, and then think of where they're going to go, and then you can get out of the situation quickly. Mental.
So Chris and I both are motorcyclists, and I even typed this up on the notes.
Just so you know.
Yes. But this is essential if you want to live. Even when you're stopped, you always kind of angle the bike a little bit when you're sitting at an intersection in case somebody doesn't see you, so that you can squirt between two cars. And your head is always on a swivel, and you always make sure that you've got to leave yourself an out. That is the mantra of street riders.
Speaking of an out, isn't it time to end this episode?
Sure, we can end this episode. We've had a lot to say.
Turn your radio down right now.
Turn it down, Jeff.
How about there? How about there?
That's it.
That's good. So thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, and rallying this week, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button on iTunes or wherever you get the podcast. If you have any questions or want to give us some show notes, drop us a comment on our Facebook page. Don't make us read another one from the Dishwasher Fairy. He's had enough. If you'd like to help us produce the page or show, donate, or sponsor us, how about that?
Yay!
Call us up.
Flip Ship, come on. We were talking about you. Hook us up.
Yes. Thanks again. And until next week, keep the shiny side up unless there is no shiny side. Then just keep the wheels down.